Howdy, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Intertitle here. I am your host, Raul Reeds. Today, I am joined by the one, the only, the plant lady herself. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you for having me. It's nice to finally meet you in person and
Right?
live.
I feel like you've been on my radar for a good minute. As soon as I started seeing promo of Plant Lady, I was like, "What is that?" It
Aw,
caught my attention right off the first go, and it's been a while since this happened. And
that's awesome.
we do have some viewers here with us. We have Jacob Flores, very on brand with the
Hi,
fun.
Jacob.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yay!
Hey, actually, I want to start from the beginning. I want to go back to the front.
Sure.
Uh, First question would be, who or what sparked your interest in writing?
So, um, I was always, since a very young age, interested in writing. I shared this with some other people before that I used to dictate stories to my mom before I could actually write, and she would write them down for me, and then I would draw the little pictures. Um, and then I don't know, I kind of didn't really consider being an author until much later when I was a young teenager, about sixth grade, and I got into the Redwall series by Brian Jakes. I don't know if you're familiar with him and his books with the anthropomorphic animals and a medieval world. And I just fell in love. And middle school was a tough time for me. So the Redwall books were an escape. And I wanted to do that. Um, and I got into a kind of like an online role-playing game based on forums, so it was all about writing, and I got into that with several other people, and we just wrote stories together, and it was so much fun. That's really the root of it.
I feel like anytime you find a hobby just for the escape of it all, it just makes it so much more special. I don't know.
Mhm.
That's the thing I get when I read. It's just so much fun that you're able to shut off the world and just focus. Um,
Yeah.
so I always like to give the context to this question. So whenever I want to do something, I always have to have specific things with me, especially when I'm doing interviews or writing or whatever, and in my immediate area at all times.
Mhm.
If I'm doing this activity, it has to happen this way. So for you, what do you need in your writing space to get things done?
A cup of tea or a mug.
Like, by itself. I
Yeah.
realize I'm drinking coffee and you're drinking tea.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Cheers.
Cheers. There you go. I don't know. You know, this thing's for everyone watching. For some reason, this creamer smells like crayons.
Oh,
But
no.
but I am gonna drink it just because it was like $4
Oh
in
my goodness.
this economy.
Yeah. I'm currently drinking, so it's night, so I'm drinking a non-caffeinated tea. I'm drinking rooibos tea, which is usually my go-to evening drink, and I just drink it straight, no sugar, no cream. That's what I
Oh,
like.
yeah, have you ever tried English breakfast?
Um, the variety of tea.
It's the way uh, British people drink it with the milk and the sugar.
Yeah. So I
Yeah,
know there's like a you can go to the store and you can get the flavor
yeah.
the
There's
breakfast tea.
I
Yeah.
think
Um,
what is it called? Oh my god, it's Dell recommended it. Oh my god, I'm blanking. I'll figure it
yeah.
out. But yes, I do drink. I swear to God, just drank it right now. It was giving that 48 crayon box.
Oh no.
It's disgusting, but it's supposed to be white chocolate. White chocolate? No, it's not.
Oh. Mm.
Why did I mute myself? I'm terrible.
No, it's okay. Um, yeah, when I was in England a long time ago, and I don't think I had the tea, which is kind of blasphemous seeming at the time or now looking back, like what?
That's their thing. They drink
Yeah.
tea. How
Yeah.
was the fish and the chips over there?
Well, when I went over, yeah, I wasn't eating fish at the time. I'm a vegetarian, so the chips were great.
The pool,
The chips
potatoes
were
are
great.
great. just come to my mind, and I just have to say them. So
No, I love it. It's fun.
so when it comes to reading, I have specific tropes or things I need in my book to be like, oh, this is perfect. This is for me. Uh,
Mhm.
you as a writer, is there any writing tropes you like to sprinkle in every story you write?
Oh my goodness. So, I'm a big fan of friends to lovers. I just something about that is just so wholesome and happy, and, in a romance, you want happily ever after, so that's just, like, the sweetest thing. Um, yeah, that's the big one, and cinnamon roll male love interests. I mean, come on. I mean, in this world where there's so many alpha males and toxic masculinity, the cinnamon roll is we need more cinnamon rolls who are not afraid to be in touch with their emotional side. I think the world would be a better place if that were more accepted in the mainstream. I don't know.
I completely agree. It's I was gonna say it's hard being a man. No, it's not. No, but yeah, I've noticed when it comes to like book talk, for example, since I just recently joined TikTok, I've noticed that a lot of the men who are very accepted by viewers, they're very cinnamon
Yes.
roll like, and I was like, oh, okay, I vibe with this. Is it? And
Yeah.
it's I feel like as a man, you should be chill as fuck. Sorry, I didn't mean to cuss in my own show.
That's
Uh,
okay.
you have to be, like, chill. Like, there's no reason for you to be like weird when girls are like, "Oh, I like this too." You'd be like, "Thank you." That's it. You don't have to be a weirdo
Mhm.
about it.
Yeah.
But that's one thing I did like about Paul. Funny enough, his name is pretty close to my name. I was like, I just added a little letter. I was like, the little thing.
Yeah.
Bro, that's one thing I really liked about him. There's this one part that had me like playing with my hair and kicking my feet. There was this scene about a hug. I was like, "Can I hug you?" I was like, I love things like that. It's like I love like I don't know, the coziness of it all.
Yes.
Uh,
That's what it's going for. Oh my gosh, you just made my night.
I'm telling you, I was like, "Oh, I gotta let her know," just because I was like reading it. I was like, "Oh my god, this is."
Ah.
But also on the same side, as a reader, I there's certain things in a book where I'm like, no, this is not for me. I know like the
Mhm.
big one people say is like the pregnancy trope where it's like
Oh,
a
yeah.
I hate that. It's so
Y
childish. No reason to
yeah.
be doing things like that. Uh,
Mhm.
but you as a writer, is there any tropes that you're like, wrap it up. I don't want to see this anymore. I would never include this in my story.
So in addition to the one that you just said, um, uh, probably, the love triangle, kind of a tried and true answer as well. It's just not my thing. It stresses me out. Nobody wants to be in that situation. I think it's okay when it's, a little tiny bit of, oh, this is unrequited love, and then you just have to resolve it, but don't make that the basis of the whole story. If you like that, if people like that, that's fine. We all like different things, but it's not for me.
I agree. I feel like there's no I feel like they could have put all these traits on this other one person. Why are you splitting it into two?
Yeah.
I don't like it. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Okay.
no.
Same. Yeah.
So I also have a little rapid fire questions for you,
Okay.
and they're right. It's a mix between writing and reading. So you
Mhm.
would pick the one that you prefer. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start. First one is music or silence.
Silence.
Ooh. Ebook or physical.
Oh, I love my physical books, but I live in a small house, so
Mm,
I'm moving towards ebooks.
Kindle girly. Okay, love that. Plotter or pantser.
Planter,
Coffee or tea.
tea,
Tea. Period. Cliffhanger or told all.
told all.
See, I as soon as someone tells me there's a cliffhanger, it's a wrap. I'm already grabbing my bag. I'm already like, all right, let's go. We're not doing this. I don't know. I'm the type of reader who's like, you should have hooked me on that first go. You could have told all you
Mhm.
say on this one, make it a couple pages longer. Come on.
Yeah.
So I like that. I appreciate that.
Of course, yeah.
So as a male of the human species, I love to peer pressure people, but into doing funny things, you know? I'm like, "Come on, let's go." I don't tend to, like, peer pressure people into doing crazy things like that they'll get hurt. But you as an individual, have you ever been peer pressured into, like, a purchase? And if so, what is the worst purchase you've made due to peer pressuring?
Okay. So I was thinking about this quite a bit, and my initial reaction was because I really I don't spend a lot of money on things unless I really want them on the one hand, and then the other hand, I treat my if I really want something, I will just, I will rationalize it. So I had to think about this, and my first thought was, the rare times when a friend talks me into ordering an extra alcoholic beverage when you're out, and it's like, that was a bad choice. But then I tried to think a little deeper about like actual things, physical things, and so I really like anime. And nowadays we're so spoiled, we can just stream something. If you have a subscription and you don't like it, okay, you don't have to go and watch that show anymore. On to the next thing. But back several years when, it was first becoming mainstream in the US and you'd have to spend a pretty penny to get a VHS or a CD with one, maybe two episodes. It was a big investment. And everybody was just raving about Evangelion. And I know this is a controversial take, but it's just not for me. I- And I tried and I spent a lot of money on a DVD. I believe it was a DVD or was it a VHS? I can't even remember. And I was like, oh, oh. So that we're gonna go with that.
Yeah, as long as it's not a tattoo like me, I have one right here. I regret it. Yeah. And for you guys watching, I was at work and it was my coworker. He's like, after work, we're gonna get tattoos, and I was like, all
Oh
right,
no.
yeah, let's go. And I'm playing around. 30 minutes later, we were at a tattoo shop. I was already there. I was like, I guess. And look at
Oh
me.
my gosh.
It's been what, like 8 years since I got it. Probably get something
Wow.
else later, but that's where this question comes from. So it's
I was just reading an infographic from Inked magazine on Instagram about just that topic.
peer pressure for tattoos or tattoos.
Well, tattoo regrets.
Mm,
Yeah, it was really interesting.
get rid of them. I mean, you could technically get rid of them, but it's a painful
Ugh,
process.
and expensive.
Yeah, so I'm like, we're gonna. It's not a bad tattoo. It's pursuit of happiness.
Aw,
Yeah, it's something like okay.
my imagination was running wild for a minute there, so I mean, it could be way worse.
I'm a weird kid. I'm a man now, but I was a weird kid then. Uh, I'm surprised I got something that's meaningful. So I was like, oh, okay, buddy, at least you did that.
Yeah.
So I love playing games. I don't know where that came from. The accent switch was crazy. I like playing games. I like playing games. So I have a little game for you. It's a scramble word. These are all plants. I'm not saying you should know them, but I'm saying
Ah,
if it helps.
the
Uh,
pressure is on.
so let me just know when you're ready, and I'll put the first word on the screen.
Okay, I hope I see it because I'm using my phone and
That's
eh,
true. All right, 1, 2, 3. And if anybody
I
watching,
could, I could, no.
it's scrambled.
Ah,
I know.
oh my goodness. So my username on lots of social media is Ditzy Druid. So here's where the ditziness comes in. And my husband does puzzles. Me, I'm like, oh my gosh. No, I don't know. What is it?
It's artichoke.
No. I was thinking house plants or
They're plants
you
and
went with a vegetable.
I we talked about this. I googled these things and it said plant. I was like, period. All right, cool. This next one should be so easy.
Oh gosh.
We'll laugh if you miss it.
Cactus? Oh, yes.
Before you even got it. Oh my god. Okay.
You see the smoke coming out of my ears?
Malfunctioning. It's like
Yeah. Ugh.
this next one is super easy as well.
Um, no, no, it's not guava. No, no. Uh,
And 25 letters. Yeah, 25 letters. I picked this one because I assumed it was gonna be easy.
Ow, I'm really hung up on the VAG and it's not, it's messing with.
Funny enough, this word I think it's in the book
Oh no.
somewhere. It's right you know it. Like I think you like almost had it earlier.
I hope your viewers are entertained.
Oh my god, I hope so too. Especially everybody who's gonna watch this back later. Have a bomb.
Oh my gosh, this is. I, I wish I had a pen and paper to.
You like you have it. I can see it in your eyes. You have this. I promise.
No, it's only 5 letters. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I can tell you what it is.
Yes, please.
It's agave. Do you see it?
Agave.
Agave.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, oh, I looked up easy plant names. I promise that's what I did, and that's what came up. This
You
next one.
overestimated
So these
my abilities.
these things, remember, they're plants, or they can either be things that grow from a plant, or like they're attached to a plant.
Ah.
They're green usually. Okay, this one might throw you off, but I didn't really scramble it that much.
Mm. I'm really thinking about this. No. It's not pothos, no, because it's no. Mm. I gotta think about vegetables and fruits.
It starts with the letter T. I'll give you a hint.
Okay. If I move the T to the front, it's taco ape.
Taco, yeah, taco eight.
Oh no. I am terrible at these. Tapioca.
Yes, yes,
Oh my goodness. Is that Generation K?
tapioca. I think my family's here. The dogs are making.
Thank you.
Uh, this next one, hopefully, it doesn't trip you up.
No, like the others. This is cruel and unusual punishment.
This one's actually super easy, like extremely easy.
You said that about the other ones. Okay, the word long is in there. Um, this is gripping streaming right here. Oh gosh. Yeah, my nickname in the house is Mama
Aw.
because I look out for everybody.
I promise you, like if you even pull up a mirror, you will see it.
Magnolia.
Yes.
Oh, oh, oh.
So 3 out of 5. That's a good score. That's a,
With a little help.
a little help is fine.
Yeah,
It's hard, right? When you're like,
yeah, it is.
I feel like when you have the spotlight on you, you're like, oh.
And my Shadow Spark siblings, the last show you did, There were 3 of them, and they helped each
They had it. You saw how quick that episode ended? I was like, okay.
Yeah.
We talked
T
about this. Hey, if you answer these questions too quick, it's a wrap.
Ditsy Druid right here.
I like
Ditsy.
spread out. Yeah, so I appreciate you for trying your best. You still passed because 3 out of 5 is a pretty good score.
Yes.
This
Thank you for the help.
part should be easy because it's all about you. So, Plant Lady, the book. Can you summarize? Oh, look how pretty it looks in person. I was looking at the camera. How would you summarize this book without spoiling it for new readers?
So, it's about Fern, and her goal in life is to reclaim her grandparents', their plant nursery, which has been, um kinda left abandoned for a little bit due to their ailing health and, their grandparents' eventual death, which is not a spoiler. I mean, that's you learn about that pretty early in the book. So that's her life goal, and she kind of has to balance all these other obligations with it, the societal and family pressures of going to college and getting a degree and then getting student loans, and she really doesn't want to be in academia. She wants to work with plants. She wants to have that nursery experience that her grandparents gave her when she was younger. Um, she finds her niche working in a plant boutique that she actually starts herself. And she's also in a pagan group, a modern pagan group, and they are planning their annual witches ball, which is part Samhain ritual, one of the major festivals in the pagan calendar, and it's also their biggest fundraiser of the year. So she's heavily involved with that, and life is hard enough as it is, and all of a sudden, her college sweetheart ex-boyfriend shows up after several years, and it's a big shocker. And what does she do? That's basically the
That's a
best
good.
I can do without spoiling it.
That's a good story. Uh, so initially, when we she Fern first brings up Paul, like he feels like an enigma. Like you really don't know who he is or like why she's feeling this kind of way for him. And
Mhm.
I didn't even have to hear anything. I already hated him. I was like, I hate him, girl. Don't worry about it. I got it.
Ah!
Got you. But as the story progressed, I was like, I don't know what to think about this. I don't know, like I understood Fern and where she was coming from and what all these emotions she was going through. Uh, so as an author, how do you make sure your characters, like for example, Paul and Fern, they stay relatable, like enough for you to like get mad at them, but like not completely hate them to the point
Mhm.
there's no return. Like how did you balance that?
Um, Goodness, that's a good question. Well, in the first series that I wrote, Rituals of Rock Bay, my first book, River Magic, it just came out organically. Um, Somewhat inspired by some real life relationships and inspirations from people I knew. And then when I wrote the sequel, you have to kind of up the ante a little bit. And I struggled in that the love interest in that I almost made him a little too unlikable suddenly because I had to give him some faults to keep things going on. And thankfully, my editors were really great at helping me pinpoint where I went wrong and helped me turn that around. And so it was a stressful learning experience, but it was a valuable learning experience. And so I took that with me writing Plant Lady and was able to get back to that more organic, what are actual relationships like? You want this to be a positive thing. Um, yeah, so just kind of thinking about the sort of people that I want to be around, the people that you know, would you personally give this person a second chance, or is it what kind of traits would be too much, would be too unforgivable to even try to rekindle a relationship, even just a friendship. So I just kept that in the back of my mind to make it realistic, and I hope that makes sense. I felt like I've rambled.
That was perfect. That actually like it makes it perfect for me. It completes everything in my mind. So for example, whenever I do things, I like to have like placeholders for things. So it's like it's never like the last thing that's gonna happen. One
Mhm.
second, let me get this out of the way. There we go. So I like to talk to authors about like, hey, if your book was entitled this, what were the runner-ups? What were the other options besides Plant Lady? Was there any other titles you were juggling?
So I know when we're writing, we often do that, "Oh, this is book X or whatever," and I'll come up with the title eventually. Plant Lady was that filler name, and then it just grew on me, and so the initial drafts, I don't know, at some point I realized, "You know what? This should just be her nickname," and that's where that came from. So it was always Plant Lady. I knew I had wanted to write a book about a plant lady, you
Mhm.
know, the stereotypical woman who's just, like a cat lady, but with plants.
It,
And yeah,
it was so funny. Have you ever had that feeling when you're watching like a movie and then they say like the title of the movie, like, ooh, ooh, that's what it felt like when I saw it. I was like, oh, that's where it comes from. Okay, okay.
yeah. I love that feeling.
Yeah, it's like so. I don't know. It's rewarding. It's weird.
Yeah,
Uh, so the book does have a really pretty cover.
yeah.
Who was the illustrator on it?
So she goes by I'm a bunny, IMMA period BUNNI, I believe. I have it in the book, but she wanted to be credited with that name. That's her username. And she's a fabulous, fabulous artist. She does commissions. And I worked with her to do some character art for my Rituals of Rock Bay characters. And I just loved the process. She's so kind and patient, and she does what an actual commission artist should do and shows you drafts and um, takes feedback well. And she's just such a joy to work with. I knew that I wanted to collaborate with her on the cover, so that was a really positive experience. So if any writers out there thinking about doing that, I highly recommend I'm a Bunny, or just finding an artist that you have a positive relationship with. Try commissioning some character art first, see how that goes. I highly recommend it. It's worth paying for a good artist.
Yeah, because that's what really caught my attention. The cover. So it's, like it was worth it in my opinion. Yes. Um, I also want to ask you, uh, because I like to look at things like from the past or like look. I don't know how to describe this. I need to. I've been asking this question a lot, so I need to figure out how to word it better. But what is one thing you wish you knew back at the beginning of the process of Plant Lady that you know now?
Hmm. Okay. I wish I had done a better job with marketing, I guess. And I'm sure a lot of authors say that about their books. I had other plans, when I released my first novel with Shadow Spark, River Magic, I did, so this was in the midst of COVID, and I thought, well, okay, I'm going to try one of these virtual book tours. And it was great. I had a really positive experience with it. Had some book bloggers sign up to do arcs and all of that. And then so I got some good reviews from that experience. But unfortunately, that particular tour group closed. And I've seen some other virtual tour groups pop up and then disappear and pop up. And I don't know. I was like, I don't know if I want to try one of these other groups. I've actually known some people who have paid for things for certain tour groups and then nothing happened. So I was really hesitant to try that again. Probably should have done a better job with ARCs, but live and learn, right? I'm a school teacher and a dance mom as well, so I'm very, very busy and life gets hectic. And what do you know? Suddenly it was October, and I'm like, well, okay, we'll just, you know, do what we can. And thankfully, Plant Lady's catching people's eye, and people are finding her organically, and I'm doing the best I can sharing it. And I appreciate bloggers and book YouTubers like you giving shout outs to me. So thank you for that. That's been good. It's
Yeah,
been wonderful.
as soon as I was like thinking of doing like partnerships with like publishing presses and everything, uh, when I started, no pun intended, there was a spark between me and Shadow Spark. I was like, it's great. like the conversations were flowing great and everything was like,
Mhm.
and I I think this is fine. I can say this now. I got so excited when I saw that the book was part of the roster. I was like, let's go. Yeah.
Yay.
Sometimes you don't know, like when you're like looking through, I would see your book a lot throughout that week. And
Mhm.
when me and Shadow Sparks uh linked up, I was like, okay, so I was getting like the roster and everybody was like, obviously everybody's new to me. But then
Mhm.
I for some reason I saw your name, I was like, why does that sound familiar? And then she mentioned Plant Lady. I was like, wait, is that the one? Yeah, and I got so excited. I'm not gonna lie.
Fate.
It's so cool talking to you, and after reading your
Yeah.
book, it's so good. Oh my god,
Thank you.
a couple of octaves.
Mm.
You guys heard that, right? My voice just went really low. It's puberty.
I
um,
love it.
for those who haven't read Plant Lady, can you just? This is not a summary, guys. It's something different. Can you describe it in 3 words, like that would get
Mm.
a potential reader hooked?
Okay. Cozy, romantic, witchlit. And I know, witchlit, kind of like a portmanteau, witchy literature, but
It sounds pretty, witchlit. I like that.
yeah.
It's like I feel like it's a. I see the color purple. Is that weird? Do you see colors when you think of certain things? Or
Sometimes.
is it weird? I think it's weird.
No, no, I think that's awesome. And, the word witch, I could see that having a purple aura to it for sure. I think it like witchlit is kind of like, have you heard of chicklit?
See, I was gonna say that, but I was like, I don't know. I shouldn't say certain things.
Yeah, no, I know. Some people don't like that, and which I totally, totally get because books should be for everybody, regardless of gender. Um, but I do like the term witchlit as a just a way to describe books about witches, generally written by people who practice or believe in that, but for anybody to enjoy.
So for Plant Lady, what was your inspiration behind it? How did you put this puzzle together? What was it?
Oh, goodness. So when I finished the third book in Rituals of Rock Bay and wrapped that up for the most part, I might revisit those characters and that setting someday, but wrapped up the main series. I knew I wanted to do more writing, and that's always the thing. You finish a project and like, well, what now? And so I took a bit of a break. I needed that break. And I thought a lot about it. And I knew I wanted to write more witchy books that portray pagan people in contemporary America and the experience of finding magic and folklore all around us. But how do I do that and create a character who's different from Lacey, the main character in my other series? And so it was kind of a thought experiment for a little while, what would be different from Lacey? Well, she can't have the clairvoyance. Okay, so this character will just be more of a regular, more realistic character, a more realistic modern witch. Okay, she's a witch. What about a witch who doesn't like Halloween? That's like weird, we love that. We're obsessed with it. So she doesn't like that. Well, why? And then I knew I wanted to write about someone who loves plants because I love plants. And I thought, this is something I really want to dig into with a character. And it just evolved from that.
I really like that. So my next question for you is, Fern and Adriana's go-to karaoke song is "Wanna Be" by the Spice Girls. What would be your go-to karaoke song?
My go to karaoke song. So I haven't done karaoke since my senior year of high school. And when I did that, I was so nervous to do it. Um, I did it with a group of friends and we sang The Love Shack. But if I were to go karaoke singing today, I think I would really want to do that song from Hamilton by uh, King George III, You'll Be Back. It's just so fun and unhinged. And whenever it comes on, I sing it at the top of my lungs in the car. So I know it pretty well. But don't ask me to sing it right now.
Copyrighted, guys. Copyrighted. That's so funny. I was expecting something completely different. Milton. You're such a teacher. Oh my god. So beside, I want to talk about your characters a little bit more. So besides
Okay.
Fern, who is your favorite character?
In Plant Lady. Well, I mean, Paul, of course. He's such a sweetheart, and I mean, he's made mistakes, but um, who hasn't made a mistake? And that's part of the story is we see them in college, and then they have to learn and grow up before they can figure out their actual place in life, I guess. Let's see. Oh, the cat Dandelion. I love writing Dandelion. I wish I could have put more Dandelion in the book.
Such a for a cat too.
I thought long and hard about what her name should be, and that it was just perfect.
No, it's a perfect name. Uh, so there's a lot of knowledge about plants in here. It's a lot of knowledge. How much research went into this? Because it was a learning experience for me. I learned a
Oh,
couple of
that's good. Um, Quite a bit, honestly. I mean, I have been gardening since I was really young, despite what that word scramble puzzle might make everybody think. I have been gardening for a long time. My mother has a little rose garden in the front yard, and my dad has a vegetable garden. I mean, he doesn't use it very much lately, but has a vegetable garden in the backyard. My grandparents' garden, so I grew up with my hands in the dirt. But houseplants weren't really a thing until for me, until I was older and had my own house. So I don't know, my parents just weren't into them. Um, so really, like my whole life, I've been researching plants in some way. Um, but then for this book, because Fern focuses on houseplants specifically, even though I have houseplants and I've been caring for them for probably a decade or so now, learning about them. There's still so much to them and just specific plant needs. She's trying to recommend plants to people, so I really had to get into it. And I'm sure with any author, when you're doing research, most of what you find doesn't end up in the finished product, but it's still there. The amount of material that I read, I hope still shines through. um Especially when with there's folklore involved as well. Like it wasn't just the care of the plants, it was she's consistently working with these plants in a spiritual way. So I don't know, yeah, lots.
So I actually do want to put your plant knowledge to the test.
Oh no.
All right. So these are some easy questions.
Oh gosh.
Okay. So our friend agave is used to make what?
Tequila.
Perfect. Yes. The next question is, what plant is known for its ability to catch insects?
To catch insects like the Venus flytrap.
Yeah, the Venus has the answer. All right. So next question. Hopefully, it trips you up a little bit. Which vegetable can be used as a natural dye for fabrics?
As a natural dye for fabrics, beet.
Oh wow, yes. See, you do know what you're talking about.
Just don't ask me to unscramble their names.
I need you to give them to me backwards. Give me the words backwards. That's taking it. All right, so we have entered towards the end of our episode, but we still have got a couple more questions before I let you go. So, after releasing Plant Lady and reflecting on your journey so far, I mean, Baby Girl's still fresh. Plant Lady's still
Yes.
fresh. She still has a lot of life to live. But after doing all this process and this, what does success mean to you?
So back when I was um oh, what's the word I'm looking for? When I was sending out my manuscript for River Magic, my first novel, I that was such a new process for me. Sending out letters to prospective agents and publishing houses. And I went to this was before COVID. I went to a publishing conference. Now I live in upstate New York. It's not like things like that are around the corner for me. So it was in the Adirondack Mountains. So it was a couple hours from where I live. And the Adirondack Writing Center put this whole conference on. It was so amazing to meet and talk to other writers and published authors. And the focus was this big panel led by published authors, but also agents and people in the literary world. And one of the agents at her panel, she talked about your concept of success. And I'd never really thought about it until that point, but it made such a big impression on me. And it was really the turning point in my publishing journey because it made me realize that I never really wanted to be, maybe I shouldn't say never, because who doesn't? Like, we all want to be famous in some way. But I was coming to a point where I realized I didn't need to be this famous, rich author who, can live on royalties and things like that. Like, no shade to anybody who wants that. That's a wonderful dream, but it wasn't for me. And I realized I would be content working with a small house, an independent house, and not have quite so much pressure on me and still be able to be an educator and just, I don't know, I just didn't want to be part of, I didn't want to be a cog in, it's gonna, oh my gosh, I'm gonna sound, I didn't want to be a cog in the capitalist publishing, okay, okay, there, I said it. So I wanted something small. And for me, that's what success was, is just finding my audience, my humble little audience, and maybe, bringing joy and um, helping some, small group of readers find, home, and that brings me joy, and I'm okay with that. Would I like more money? Of course, I mean, who wouldn't? But I am content, and I don't feel like I need to chase huge royalties to be content. I got my plants. People like my stories. That's awesome. How many people can say they've published a book? That's it. That's I'm happy with that.
Not a lot of people can say that. Not a lot of people can say people actually read their books. I feel like
Yeah.
that in itself is such a like an accomplishment. Um,
Yeah.
I have a couple more questions before I let you go.
Sure.
Question number one: if you can give any advice to any new or aspiring author out there, what since you've went through the whole process of writing, promoting, pitching, what advice would you give to that author?
Mm. Um, don't be afraid to share with trusted critique partners. I wish I had done that earlier. I wish I had made friends in the writing community earlier, whether they're, physically in your own community, joining like a writing circle, or in the wider global community via the internet. Don't be afraid. Make sure you trust the people, but also make sure that they're the sort who will give you honest feedback. Having good beta readers has been powerful. Plant Lady wouldn't have been what she is without the feedback from those trusted individuals. So I know when I was initially writing River Magic, I hung on to that draft for a long time. I was scared to share it with people. Don't be scared. Find those trusted people and reach out. Your story will be better in the long run.
I like that. Uh, before I let you go, I have well, technically the last question is not really a question, but this is like, if you could have any superpower, what superpower would you like to have?
Oh my goodness. Okay. Part of me really wants to be able to control flame and shoot fireballs,
I
but
was gonna get something like it's gonna be something elemental. I was like, she's gonna see something elemental.
yeah, I've always been drawn to fire. I mean, I'm a Sagittarius, fire element. So, but I also think it'd be really cool to be able to communicate with animals, Maybe not like to hear everything because oh my gosh, can you imagine all the mosquitoes?
Oh my god,
But
those
like if you could just form a psychic link
with an
if you
animal.
needed to, that'd be so useful.
Yeah, because a bear trying to attack you, be like, "Hey, relax, relax."
No,
But
I don't want to eat your baby.
yeah, it's like, "I'm not trying to do anything, dude. Chill."
Yeah.
That's power. It's giving Doctor Doolittle. I like that.
Yeah. Happy Doodle.
Just alright, so before I let you
Yeah.
go, where can my audience find you?
Okay. So, I'm most active on Instagram. My handle is Ditzy Druid again. Um, I'm still technically on Twitter or X, and I'm also on Blue Sky and Threads. So again, Ditzy Druid, and I have a blog at WordPress, but it's ditsydruid.com. So you can find me there too.
There you guys have it. Thank you guys so much for joining us. This is actually the final stream of the year. Oh my god, I completely forgot to say that. Thank you so much for closing off the year with me. Uh,
Yes.
this is just the beginning of our Shadow Spark Press journey, everyone. Make sure to follow them on Twitter. I mean, they call it X now. And we will keep you guys posted on when the next episode is. But as of now, Happy New Year's, Merry Christmas for those who celebrate
Yeah.
it, and make sure to Plant Lady anywhere books are sold. There you go, pretty big. All right, guys, you guys have a nice day, night, whatever time zone you're in. All right, bye.
Thank you so much.